Hi, so this is a scene I created for Epic Games for the webinar that we've been holding together online. So you might have seen some snippets of it, and I thought it'd be very opportune to show it in this module because it was a scheme designed by Kelly himself. So how it's completely by chance. I had no idea. I didn't even know about it, about Kelly when I did this project, but it's really fun to be able to play with the lights in Unreal, and I'll just go through the project. So first thing I've got to say is that the performance on this is absolutely abysmal. So I will shamefully show you my frames per second, and it's 11 frames per second. The reason is that all these leaves are all animated. So I'm going to try to not move the camera too much because of the lag. But if you see, all the leaves are moving, as well as the grass. So I don't know if I can zoom in right. Everything is moving. So you can see the grass is sort of slightly undulating. So that's the reason why. And there's lots of grass. So I'll put this back in sort of 90. Sorry for the strobe effect here. So, but it doesn't matter because we don't need to walk around too much. That's not the point of the exercise here. Just to explain the slight lag you're going to experience, so I will shamefully hide my frames per second. Also, I'm on my laptop, so I'm showing a more recent graphic card. It will be perfectly happy doing that. Okay, so the general idea here, I think, is to have this ambient luminescence on the trees, so to create this sort of large amount of illumination washing the trees. I have actually added an environment, a height fog in here, which is was a little bit OTT. I was just playing with the new volumetric fog, so I was trying to get the shafts of light. So that's another subject, but I'll just keep it turned off for now. But you can really see that the effect is very grand. It works really well to provide a background for this dark form of the house itself. So I thought I'd show you a little bit what I did in the webinar. I just turned them all off, and for starters, the background here is using an atmospheric fog. So if I just turn that off, and the atmospheric fog, I don't think I've changed anything. Yeah, slightly these, but I think the main point of the atmospheric fog is the position of the sun, obviously, to create this this color. The other thing, obviously, that we've got is the skylight, and so this, again, there's nothing particular about it, apart from the fact that I was looking for here the effect that we would have, I'm almost ashamed to say, back in the old days of just an ambient light, because there is no GI at all in this scene. So I didn't want to start playing with this amount of grass. I didn't want to start playing with the build, and I wanted to just try this method of having a very flat shadow color. So this has got a strong blue tint. I could probably even go stronger than that, but it was just a flat blue color. That was the intent. So that's what we have. It doesn't look good, but it's just supposed to be a blue color to fill in on the shadow side. Then I started with well, I'll start with the inside here. These are just spotlights. So if I show my the gizmo, so the Skydome shows as well. But so if I show the gizmos here, you see that they have spotlights which are, I'll just get a bit closer. There's spotlights shining downwards. So I was always going to do a shot from quite far out, so I didn't, worry too much about the fact that this was quite poorly lit from far away. The effect was kind of going to be all right. But here I have this downlights which mimic the reflected light that would get from the ceiling from these uplighters, because in the original scheme, Richard Kelly had some black cylinders in which there would be a spotlight that would be projecting a light upwards onto the ceiling. And so that's why I put these spotlights here, because I didn't build the lighting to throw some reflected light down, so with a sort of quite a little wide, if I can select them, they won't let me. Okay, it won't let me select them because of the, maybe if I had the glass. There you go. So quite a wide sort of outer cone here, whereas the smaller, the uplighters were a bit narrower. Okay, so I'll just go back to that and then maybe put my glass back up, although I can't really see much of it. Okay, and then the next thing where the downlighters on the perimeters, so this would be the focal glow. I've noticed really that Richard Kelly does this quite a lot, at the entrance of, say, skyscrapers, at the bottom of the Seagram building, or like he says, it's the thing that demarcates the object, and this pool of light, allows us, sits well as a background for the house to sit in. So that's the focal glow here. And then, so here we go now. Ta-da! We've got the floodlights. So I was trying to work out where these floodlights were coming from, and it seemed obvious. Well, it wasn't that obvious actually, but then I deducted that, and you see in the reference there's some signs showing that there's some lights on the roof of the house. So that's where I put these spotlights. So this is where these spotlights are very wide, and I turned off the where is it? What is it called? Here we go. In the inverse square fall off, right? So you'll see, so the intensity is not very high compared to a normal downlighter. For example, these ones, well, actually here the inverse square fall off is off as well. Normally, they're in the thousands, and this one's only on 20, so it shows the very big difference when you turned off the inverse square fall off, and you still have the ability to change the exponent, so the rate at which the light is going to diminish with distance. In this case, I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything. The thing to notice, though, is that I give a slight warmth to the color. Or maybe I didn't. Yeah, interesting. I didn't in this case, but you will see that the next set, there is that I noticed that there were two types of light in on this image. That in the reference there was some bluish tints, so this is something that I would generally advise, and this is something maybe we'll treat in another subject altogether to do with color, but the alternating and interplay of cool tones versus warm tones. So you see that the light For example, here we'll have it a warm tone, and the here floodlight slope named lights will have a cool tone, and I think that works very well. So see, it's got this sort of bluish hue to it, and that adds a lot of interest, I think, and balance in the image. So that's about it for the lighting. I mean, I could go on about the grass and the trees, but I think we'll do that in another video. Here, I'll before I go, I'll put it full screen a little bit so that you can see the maybe the things moving, and when that's real time and in VR, I think it'd be quite good fun. Well, while I'm here and talking about VR, what was really interesting also was placing the lights here in this scene in real time. It was something that I could really have done in VR. I didn't because of the scene's too heavy, but I'm very much looking forward to playing with lighting in VR and on the interface. There you go. All right.